Hey, 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 welcome to the Psychic Soul Healer channel. My name is Laura, and I'm going to do a general message for whoever is lucky enough to land on this. All right. Now, if you're new to the channel, you know that I always talk about the spiritual lessons, the karmic themes, the karmic blocks, the energies that are preventing you from obtaining health, wealth, and all around emotional fulfillment, whether that's playing out as difficulties in your relationship or finances. We're going to look into it. We're going to look into also what's going on with the connection. Hey, Suzanne, welcome. Greedy, how are you doing tonight? I hope that you're doing good. So greedy, when I'm thinking about greedy, I'm thinking like that maybe somebody is, maybe you're connected to someone that is, when the greedy is obviously not just about money. Oh yeah, I'm doing good. I just did my show tonight. And my show, I do a TV show every Tuesday night called Rewired, and it's on Apple and Amazon, and tonight I talked about spiritual entities, about the spiritual entities and attachments, whether they're psychic cords, or anything that drains our energy, that there's a whole spiritual realm out there, and that's of the etheric level, and that's the astral level. Whenever we're doing psychic readings, we're going into the astral level and the etheric, and there's different entities and attachments. So we could also attract that and those type of energies when we are like at a low point within our life. So yeah, I was glad, and then I'm glad that I'm trying to be more consistent and on being on, and which is to do, psychic readings and trying to be more interactive with everything that I have to do during the day. So I'm glad that I made it this far today. I've been running around and it's been a bit nutty. So anyway, I wanted to say I pulled the card greedy before, and when I'm thinking greedy, I'm thinking that, again, somebody only cares about themselves. That again, that there's energy, that there could be energy that's around you of someone that is only considering themselves. And it doesn't mean that they don't find you attractive, but they could only be looking at things from their level of consciousness, like what works for them. And meanwhile, you're like it more about oneness. And I also feel like this person does have a very strong spiritual connection to you. Again, I don't know who this message is going to be for. And know that energy is fluid, so roles could be reversed. You may have to flip it, switch it, twist it. Just interpret the message as best resonates for you. By the way, if you're new to the channel, anything that you need to know of any type of relevance about the channel, you can find in the description box. I just wanted to also put that out there. And if you're new to this channel, I do spiritual readings. And right now, we are looking at the overall energy. What energy is affecting your life right now? You almost feel like I want to start over just because. I'm going to start over. Why? You know what? If I pull the same friggin' cards, then you're going to definitely know that it's supposed to be. But I feel like I've been all over the place. Like introducing, I want to say hi to everybody that comes on, but then when you're doing a reading, it's like, okay. So this reading is going to be for anyone that lands on it. No energy. Energy's fluid, so roles could be reversed, and it's going to be a timeless message. All right. First card out. Naturalist. Now that's better energy. feel like a lot of you guys are in a place where you just want things to feel relaxed. You just want to be in a place like where you can be comfortable with yourself, and also finding where you're comfortable with yourself. Shadow dislocation, coming out of a place of woundedness. Shadow dislocation is a lot of times when we have shadow parts of ourselves. The shadow parts of ourselves are the parts of ourselves that are wounded, the parts of ourselves that haven't been integrated yet. Why? Because what happens when we have a shadow, we detach from it. So there's a sense. I'm also feeling again, just added, that you're connected to someone that feels very connected to you. Again, so you may not be talking to this person, or you can be talking to this person, but I feel like there's a spiritual connection that you have with someone, that they feel very detached from life. So they're going through something, but they feel very connected to you. This is the overall energy that I'm feeling. So again, and the reason why is because again, there's this, it's a spiritual connection, and the spiritual connection, when we have any type of relationship that teaches us about ourself, right? It's again, it's a spiritual connection, it's a divine union. So whether or not you are in a romantic relationship with this person yet is to be unseen, but there's definitely a connection here that person needs a lot of healing. And I also believe that you need healing, that you're both the catalyst for each other's healing, for self-observation. So again, so you're dealing with a soulmate. Again, and so self-critical, and so that when we have wounds, so this soulmate twin flame could also trigger you, which a lot of times our soulmate twin flames, they trigger us because they make us look at ourself. So you're in a place where you also want to feel natural, you want to feel comfortable. Like the old you might have not cared whether or not you would be a little uncomfortable. Now it's almost like you don't care. And there's a sense, again, where you're connected to someone that is almost like a love hate type of relationship. Shadow dislocation is again when we have shadow parts of ourselves, the parts of ourselves that we've detached from them, the parts of ourselves that we don't like about ourselves. And so what happens is we get a soulmate, a twin flame, again, a karmic mate, past life, whatever you want to call it. A lot of times it's a past life soulmate person that will come into our life that makes us look at ourselves. But in doing so, it's again, it's the parts of ourselves that we don't like. So again, we have to understand why we have these relationships. Otherwise, we get stuck in the pain. We get stuck in the story of what happened instead of, especially when that relationship is full of love, but also full of pain and full of just frustration, because it's almost like it should work. Again, influenced. So I pulled this card yesterday too. And so like a lot of times we'll see how much the energy will change within a situation. But again, someone is being very influenced by their environment. And so I think actually it's the shadow parts of themselves that keeps them codependent in influence. And what has happened is this relationship, your relationship, has made the person again look at themselves, have self-observation about how they're living, and they are again being self-critical about their life, seeing that it's not really natural to them. So a lot of times you be in a relationship and say, hey, why, I thought I was supposed to be in a relationship with this person because I have an intense spiritual connection here. But understand sometimes that relationship is not really that you're supposed to wind up in that relationship. You're the if they're the catalyst, you're the catalyst for their healing. Again, because they wouldn't have been aware that they were living out of balance, that they were, especially if they were easily manipulated and controlled. So, which means that they had to be looking at other elements of the relationship, right? Why would we not notice that? Why, how would we go unbothered if we're not living our own life, if we're letting somebody else influence our life, unless we're somehow benefiting from it or that it's working, or again, that the priority was kept us there. So if the person's being influenced by money is what I'm trying to get at. Again, loss, not knowing what to do, feeling you have no purpose, take a step in any direction. So again, I feel like you're connected. This isn't you, but you're connected to. You'd be like, so why the hell do I want to be connected to this type of energy for? Well, let's see what your wound is. Because, like I said, a lot of times we don't get to choose who we have a spiritual connection to. We're unaware of, again, why we've attracted this person, but there's a spiritual message there. It's the way that the universe is trying to tell you, especially if it's a situation that's triggering you. Again, and where it almost feels like you're both being triggered by each other, and it may be because you're both not learning the lesson. Again, rebellious, needing to appear different, contrary for the sake of it. What matters is what's inside. So there is a sense, again, when we don't really feel good, lost. If a person acts lost, they're going to act like, again, defiant. Because, again, you would usually be negative, but negative is better. It's like I'm kind of feeling like ego. I'm feeling again, if I feel lost, I'm never going to let a person that close to me either, because I don't really feel safe within myself. I'm going to put on a persona, I'm going to have a mask, I'm going to have an ego, and that's going to, again, it's going to be the persona I want you to believe that I am instead of who I actually am. And which, again, this is when we don't live authentically and we're not living natural to ourselves. Now, I know that this is going to sound random, but I almost feel as if the person that you were connected to grew up in an environment that told them to think a certain way, to do certain things a certain way, and it was very based on religion, but very like very structured religion. And so not spiritual. So anything spiritualist was seen woo woo, too soft, don't show your emotions, and so again, when you can't be yourself, you're going to be act rebellious, because if you feel, you're going to think basic emotions of when you show your sensitivity or compassion as weak. And so again, this would be very difficult to be in a relationship with this. So we would say, well, why the hell again would we be in a relationship with someone like this? Like, what is the spiritual message that I'm supposed to be getting? We understand why you are the catalyst for someone else, but I want to know why you would be experiencing this. Again, haunted. Step towards your fears. The past doesn't define you. It's okay to get help. So it's almost maybe that you just attract people like that because there is a sense of not realizing that they're lost again. And so maybe you're trying to meet relationships through just meeting them randomly and not really having a common interest to them, where relationships happen over time. And if I'm haunted, what would I'm haunted over? Well, I'm haunted over the fact that I've been in a bad relationship, and I associate love with pain. I I'm nervous because I see also what I see out in the world, meaning the type of relationships, maybe talking to friends and other relatives that are dating, and seeing actually what other people go through and being affected by their trauma, because we inherit our friends' trauma, we inherit family trauma. We don't have to go through the trauma. We can identify it, especially if we've gone through the trauma. This is why we would be haunted. It's like, so do I have that energy on me? Is that the message here? That's what it would feel like. And so, but the truth of because trauma does that, it keeps us stuck in that fight, flight, freeze, where now you're holding the vibration as well. And so you would be haunted. But the truth of the matter is not if you're doing things different. Again, move steps forward. So when I'm talking about stepping forward, what does that mean? Again, martyr. So also understand, maybe in your past relationship you sacrificed too much, you gave too much. Maybe a person came in a little bit handicapped. I say handicapped as if, like, they come in like just out of a bad relationship, just after losing a job, just again some sort of setback in their life, where they need a little extra help from you, where you would, again, if you have feelings for someone, you want to give. You want to give. That's what you want to do. So you would give, and when you wind up giving, you are acting like a martyr. Especially, and let me tell you, that's easy to do if you're in a relationship with someone that is acting like they don't have like an identity. Then sometimes they would bounce back and forth between being a little bit like rebellious, but also being a martyr. And it's because they're lost. And so the way that you would not get caught up in being haunted by the same is you'd have to obviously create a new scenario, is what I'm feeling. Okay. And then superior. So again, in noticing when a person's living more from their ego. So this was, I don't know whose spiritual message that was, but let's pull some new cards and let's see what other messages. Let's look into, again, for those of you that are in a relationship, let's look at the energies that are happening between you and your person. Let's see what's going on between you and your person. What are they feeling? What is your person feeling? Let's see what your person is feeling about you. And we'll look at the spiritual blocks too, but let's also just look and see what your person thinks about you. Avoiding. Right now, they're avoiding you. They're avoiding you. Again, they're pretending that everything's okay. Again, a lot of times when person, again, feels bad, isn't good with their emotions, they will pretend that everything's okay, but they're not okay, because again, they're acting like the great pretender. Harmony. They remember a time that it's, again, that you guys got along well. I feel like they're in a nostalgic moment right now. I feel like they're thinking a lot about old times when you guys got along, like they're being nostalgic. Let's see. one foot in and one foot out. See, there's part of them that knows that they always had one foot in and one foot out. And that's really what you're not tolerating anymore. It's again, they know that they didn't treat you well. And they know that I feel like they really misjudged you. I think that this person is used to dating a lot of different people at one time and not really forming an emotional connection with anyone. I will see you sooner than you think. So again, your person's thinking a lot about you. I feel like they're planning on bumping into you because again, they don't really know how to talk. There's a sense that they've avoided you for a really long time. And they again got to the point where they're feeling tired of being the great pretender because now they're in this nostalgic mode. And so it's again, they don't know what to do. There's parts of them, again, the one foot in, one foot out almost feels like part of them wants to come towards you and part of them doesn't. So they're fighting their ego because again, their heart is saying that they want to come towards you, but their ego is telling them, again, still wants to be that great pretender, acting like they don't really care. Well, that's directions on how to use Zoom or how to use one of my live streams, I should say. Okay, so let's see. Please don't be angry with me forever. So obviously, your person plays a lot of games. They are very immature on a different vibration because again, they want to come towards you, but they also don't want to apologize. They also don't want to really make any differences. There's a part of them that is commitment phobic. So they always like to have an out where one foot's in and one foot's out. They treated you like they treated everyone else. And so I feel like they've come to a place where like you showed them something different and now they're like embarrassed. That's too many. Now they're embarrassed. One day. So it's again, there's a part of them that really wants to come towards you. But it's again, and they're saying, I'm going to run into you. I feel like I'm always going to talk to you. So they have a lot of anxiety. It's again, mainly because of their ego. They're fighting their ego. They know that you shouldn't talk to them. They know that they deserve not to let go and let God. They feel like, again, that you let go and let God. That it's again, that I feel like they admired you that you did this. Is because they know that they didn't really treat you well. They know this and they feel bad about it, but it's like they're stuck in their ego. I have karmic debts that need to be paid before I can come back to you. So it's again, I feel like their behavior, they tended to be a player, and I feel like it caught up to them. I feel like some of them were even married or again are going through a divorce right now. And so the karmic debt is that they, have to deal with their divorce and they have to deal with previous obligations. But during this time that you guys are in separation, they are looking at their behavior and they feel bad about it. But there still doesn't, just because they feel bad about it, they are usually non-committal. And they're usually somebody that has a very big ego and likes things very much their way, likes to be, whether they're a male or not, likes to be in that male dominant energy, wants to be able to control the show. But if you let them control the show, they will always be unfair. And that's what this energy says, that they know that they were unfair. That's the way that they are. Only no one really ever held them to it. And now that you did, they have to apologize and they feel, again, uncomfortable about having to do it. It's again, no one else makes me feel the way you do. Again, I believe that this is a spiritual relationship. And that's actually was a spiritual message that came out first. The spiritual message that actually came out first was that with my cards, was that it's that somebody was not obviously good with showing their feelings and emotions, but one person was very greedy, only cared about their own feelings, didn't care about anyone else's feelings, and now is suffering because it's like, well, you used to playing the game a certain way and you didn't get what you wanted. You thought that, and I'm talking to this person, like I'm being a little sassy. Like, well, you thought that, you know, that the person was gonna come, like they thought you were gonna come running and begging and feel sorry and want to be in their life. And the truth of the matter is, you were like, bye, okay, that's the way that you want it. Now they're like, I didn't like I they weren't used to that. So there again, I can't show you my feelings. I'm gonna pretend and act like everything is okay. Again, different vibration. Avoiding you. But guess what? When it's a true relationship and now they see that it was like it took them losing you in order for them to actually be like, wow, no one else makes me feel this way. Well, partially it's because you put them in their place. It's like, and so before they can fix it, they have karmic debts to play, but they're used to having one foot in, one foot out. So, and running their life with their ego instead of, but understand this is what love is. This is how we learn about love. Love makes you do things that you wouldn't do. So that doesn't mean that the person doesn't need to surrender their ego. Doesn't mean that they want to surrender the ego. Hell no. Nobody wants to surrender their ego because it means that I have to relinquish power. And this person likes to be very male, whether they're a male or not. They like to be that dominant, like in control, big ego, like type of, that type of energy. And guess what? When you're dealing with love, you don't deal with that energy, and this person's in for a rude awakening because they didn't want to apologize, they didn't want to be vulnerable, but in order to fix this, they're gonna have to be vulnerable. My love for you scares me. Well, I knew that. I freaking knew that. It's like because you're looking stupid. The person looks stupid. That's how you know they're full of blocks, spiritual blocks in the relationship because you're all over the map. There is not enough chemistry. I feel like they think that you think that there's not enough chemistry, and I think that you also hide your feelings. I feel like because this person acted like they didn't care, so you're gonna not act like you care. So in their mind, they again are used to lower vibrational people, which just means that they're not as confident. So they fall for their little tricks to get what they want, and you don't fall for them. So because you're not falling for them, you're not falling all over me. There must not be enough chemistry where you're like, well, there's chemistry, but you're acting like an idiot. So resentment, and then it pisses me off because it's again you're deliberately doing things, so it's again lower vibration. I'm trying to make you mad because I can't communicate properly. I'm going to ignore you. I'm going to act like you don't really matter. I'm going to avoid you. I'm going to pretend that everything is okay, but really that is going to, again, it triggers you. So it's not really the right way to play it. And this is, again, when the person gets in their own way and sabotages the relationship. This is what I'm seeing. This is a psychological reversal. This is where a person is like, I like you. The love for you that I have for you scares the shit out of me. So I'm going to get in my own way. The love for you scares me. So I am going to get in my own way and sabotage this relationship by acting like an ass, which is really irritating because it's almost like, the hell, why do I get that? And it's like because there's a part of you that doesn't feel lovable. That's why it's like and if I pull out, that would be why. You're good enough. Like I was saying, that's why. because it's buddy that doesn't think that you're good enough. You know, it's like, I'm so inspired by your strength. You are my queen, of course, because you like stood up to this person. You're like, so now this person's so taken with you because you don't want to deal with them. You're like, I'm so pissed off at your bullshit. I don't want to deal with you anymore. And now they're like, I love you. Of course you do. It's like, but it's like I have to be mean for you in order for you to love me, because the you and that's what that is. That's how you know that the person has a lot of blocks, spiritual blocks. You're like, okay, I know that this person loves me, but this is what this shit looks like. And it's like it looks like that because the person again is afraid. So it's almost like when you're like, I don't care, I'm over it, they're like, they again have fear of abandonment. They have fear of abandonment, and then they also self sabotage themselves. Jealous and possessive, and they are jealous and possessive. It's again because, and they don't, that scares them because they don't really know how to deal with it. It's a bit like it's overwhelming for a person that doesn't emotionally connect, and then they feel so much. So let's see what the hidden truths are. We're going to pull two hidden truths. We're going to pull two soulmate cards and then two karmic cards to close it out. Let's just know what the hidden truths are. What secretly do they know? Okay, because right now what we know is they have strong feelings for you, but they're not showing it. They're avoiding it. They're pretending that it's not bothering them. But a lot's going on inside that mind of theirs. So you definitely triggered a lot with inside them. And that was before too. I pulled self-observation. Again, that they were greedy. They wanted everything their way. But then now this relationship created a lot of self-observation. And I again almost look like a non-romantic way. So, but Spirit said from the spiritual energies, this relationship, whether whether you two are going to be together or not, served a purpose already. And that was the catalyst for each other, for you, that you deserve more than what this person gave, and you did right. And because you walked away, it made this person look at their own self and look at how they treated you. That made them see the difference between you and other people. So it created a lot. It brought up a lot of self observation for you both. And then I look for you everywhere. So it's again, there's your person, you're again, I pulled this card yesterday too, by the way. So the person like is looking for you everywhere. They're hoping to bump into you, of course, because God forbid they actually pick up the phone and apologize. No, can't do that. Still big ego, afraid. And know that they didn't treat you right. So now it's like again, oh, I hope I run into you. They're gonna run out of gas. Like driving around, hoping to bump into you everywhere, looking for you everywhere, to be like, oh, hi, yeah, fancy meeting you down the block from where you live. You know, like, or I know that doesn't she goes to the gym or he goes to the gym at 2 o'clock, oh, fancy meeting you at this time of day. Like trying to like look for you instead of do whatever. I'm grateful for the spiritual lesson. Like I was saying before, the whole point of this relationship was all about the spiritual lessons that needed to be learned individually, whether or not you two were going to be together. I can't stop thinking about you was flipped over. So it's again, and understand that too. Nothing will make a person surrender their ego more. And a person really loves when they have to surrender their ego. And because really, what is love? Love is patience. Love is kind. It's not a one-up you type of energy, where by you doing what you did, it's like this person is really impacted, and they keep saying it, looking for you everywhere, can't stop thinking about you, driving this person crazy. You're obsessed. You're obsessed because again, they know karmically that they have to apologize. eating them alive. I left you before you could leave me. So again, I kind of feel like with all their fuckery, they were pretending to be someone that they weren't. Again, that's how your reading opened up the first time, with again being influenced by others, which that also came out yesterday in the reading. So that's a little bit of a continuation that they were very influenced. Now that they're not, now there's more of a I want to live differently, and you inspired me. You're my muse to that. It's again, and I realize, and I also now have feelings for you because of it. Um, okay. Oh, I said two. That's enough for those. Let's pull two of these, and then just the karmic. Let's see. I'll only pull one for this one. Let's see. No matter what's up and down we have, it's always been you. You are my one true love. So again, we know this because again, it's a soulmate relationship. It's almost like I feel like a past life relationship, that if this person doesn't come forward, that they would look for you, that karmic lesson would never lessen because it impacted them so much. And it impacted them because I don't think that they thought that the way that they lived, there was anything wrong with it. It was all about them. It was their level of consciousness, and it was okay because everybody else was living that way too. The people that they were connecting to were phony baloney, and now they experienced something realistic, a real spiritual connection. They didn't realize what this was. It's again, they weren't as serious as I believe that you were, and now they're like, oh my God, I just fucked up my person. It's like they feel bad. They can't stop thinking about it. It's like I should have acted different. It's like, all right, that one came flying out. Let's see what the spiritual lesson is. I wanted to send you a message today, but I was afraid to. I don't know if you want to hear from me or if I can only say the right things to you. So it's again, your person has a lot of anxiety. They're looking for you everywhere. So it's again, they can't stop thinking about you. This whole lesson, and I want to put one more karmic just to see. Maybe it'll be your karmic lesson. So again, your person is I don't know if that's so much karmic, but it's again, that's another message. Usually these come out with karmic things. So this is more that the person really, like it's really weighing on them. They're thinking about it nonstop. I wish you could see that we are mirroring each other right now. So it's again, maybe you're mirroring this person because you're thinking about them and you're wishing that you could talk to them and you're recapping different things. I think that they feel as if they can identify with you. I think just because that they're in this nostalgic point, really reflecting back on your relationship and missing you, wanting to be with you. Like when I think, unfortunately, that when they had the opportunity, all they saw was differences and created differences and pushed you away and acted like this relationship, they didn't really matter. And now that they're in a different place, they're viewing it as, I look for you everywhere. You're my one true love. I really care about you. Like it triggers them mainly because they can't have you a lot. A part of it is that it's again because they're really healing. Our inner children are crying out right now. We both need to comfort them and become the parents. So again, inner child healing. So the bigger reasoning for this like connection is it brought out wounds that you both have. Again, wounds from childhood. I believe for you, it was like not like again not getting enough love or feeling that you didn't get enough nurturing and love and support and caring and again protectedness when you were growing up, and your person not really being able to communicate being afraid of abandonment, being afraid to be vulnerable. So both parties not really feeling strong within themselves, when really you learn about unconditional love through these relationships, because there's nothing more irritating than when we really do have unconditional love for someone and we know that they have unconditional love for us. We can feel a spiritual connection, but how it's playing out is definitely does not look like unconditional love. If anything, it's pulling out every wound and triggering us in all different ways. But the Spirit says, before, if you guys decide to be together, great. But that's not the whole point of this divine union. The whole point of this divine union was, again, for healing, again for change, catalyst for change. So it was important, but not until the karmic lesson is learned does that spiritual connection ever really lose its way and or lose its depth of connection. And I feel as if that you'll both want to pursue this. Doesn't say right now, as of right now, it's all about, wow, this relationship impacted me on every level. So I'm going to leave it there because that's what, again, spiritual lessons are all about. I want to thank you for joining. And if you resonated with this message, give me a like, comment the word healer, subscribe to the channel. And if you do so, you automatically enter into winning a free psychic reading with me. I want to thank you all again for tuning in with me. And I will be on again tomorrow. Bye.